All right. So when you want to handle multiple exceptions, see, we cannot say that in one program there will be only one exception. As I shown yesterday, the email might be format will be different. Some people may enter wrong email. Some people may enter email starting with some dollar symbol. So many errors may get. So that's the reason we are going to have multiple class catch blocks, and also we are going to have multiple try blocks. So today we are going to see in Java, especially in exception handling, how we are going to have the multiple catch blocks. Sorry, multiple catch blocks. So when you have multiple catch blocks, whenever the exception is thrown, so based on the exception thrown, it is going to access the corresponding catch block. So if I have multiple catch blocks, see, in the previous example which we have seen, here we have only one exception and one catch. So when there is exception occurred here, directly it will be thrown by this particular try and it will be catched by the catch block. It will be catched by the catch block. Suppose if I have multiple catches, so whom it needs to contact, right? So that is a confusion we are going to get. So to avoid that, so based on the exception which get matched with the particular catch block, it will be thrown. So we'll see an example. Then you can. So this is one of the best example. It is an extension to the previous example. So what we are doing here in the previous example, directly we gave a value as 0, 42 by 0 we have found out. But what I am doing here is I am making a equals to arguments dot length. So it's going to find out the arguments dot length. So here actually there is no particular argument we are writing. So the a value will be 0. The a value will be 0. Why is it 0? We are not writing any particular arguments, corresponding arguments here. So when a value is 0, then you will get divided by 0 exception. Then you will get divided by 0 exception, right? Right. So you will get divided by 0 exception. Then we are creating one array called C. So where we are passing some value, right? So it is one value we are passing and we are assigning some value to, or the maximum value to 99. Now what is going to happen is, suppose if a value will become 1, then the arithmetic exception will be called by name E, where it is going to say it is a divided by 0 exception. It is a divided by 0 exception, right? Suppose if you get array value more than 1 or more than length of L, that is, say for example, if it is 99, it is greater than 42, right? It is greater than this 42. Or let me put in very simple terminology. C has a length of 1, right? So, but we are assigning to some value which is greater than 1. We are assigning the value which is greater than 1. Then you will get array out of bound exception. Array out of bound exception. That means, see, the actual value of the array is one value. When you are assigning 2, 3, 4 values, then you will get array out of bound exception. So that means based on the exception which it is going to occur, it is going to call particular catch block. It is going to call particular catch block. So initially what will happen when a value is equals to 0, then obviously divided by 0 exception will be called. If array is going out of bound means, so actual array size will be one value if we are entering multiple values, right? So if we are entering the multiple values or length, more than the expected length, then we are going to get array out of bound exception. See here, here logic is not important. How we need to write multiple catch blocks, that is very important. How we need to write multiple catch blocks? So the moment you write the try block, so you can write any number of catch blocks, but you should be very specific in specifying the what is the exception you are going to catch, whether it is arithmetic exception, array index out of bound exception, or any other exception, So depending on that, we are going to write number of catch blocks. So the moment the code will get executed, so based on the code executed, it is going to call the particular catch. So in this scenario, it is divided by 0 exception. This catch block will be called. In this scenario, it is array out of bound. You can see here, array index out of bound exception. Since the int array C has a length of 1. The length of 1. At the program attempts to assign a value to C of 42. C of 42, then obviously it is going to call the array out of bound exception. Array out of bound exception. So that means when you have multiple exceptions in the program, so based on the code it is going to execute, it will call the particular exception, right? So this is how multiple catch blocks will be written in Java. You can write any number of catch blocks. See, there is no limitation on number of catch blocks. You can write 2, 3, 10, 100. So depending on the program or depending on the logic, it is going to execute. See, as I shown yesterday, I'll show you one real-time example how it will be called. Let me close this. Yeah. So as we seen yesterday, I have opened a website called Celonis, right? So the moment I'll just go to Celonis. So when I go for free account, yeah. So it is asking for the mail. I'll just put some mail and I'll try to sign up. So it is giving. Let's say, for example, I'll go to login now. I'll go to login. Yesterday we have seen sign up with one example. Let us go to login now. So what I'll do is I'll put my email ID satya.satya2011@gmail.com. Continue. So I just put continue. So if we find a team associated with so and so mail ID, you will receive an email with us shortly. What does it mean? It is also an exception. What they are going to do now? They are going to cross check in their database with this email ID. So if it is found, they'll send us a mail. So what is exception here? The moment we'll take the email ID from the customer, we need to verify the data. So verifying data is also an exception. If the data is not found, then we need to send a customer saying that, hey, you are not found in this, right? Or you take now Gmail. Take our Gmail only. Best example, more than this. So I already logged in. Let me log out. So let me just try adding another account. See, exceptions. Again, I am repeating, please don't take exceptions as errors. They are solvable problems in your program. As a good programmer, you need to solve them before releasing the product into the market. So that is what every programmers are doing. Now what I will do here is I'll say use another account. Then let me go to create an account. I want to create an account. Now you can see I'll just give my first name and last name. There is no harm in this. So this is same. It won't give any problem. Now what I will do is I'll just try to create one email ID 2021@gmail.com. Now you see the username is already taken. It is my mail ID only, but I'm just checking whether it is available or not. So the username is already taken. Try another. So this is one exception. Now what I will do, I will say like 2011. This is also my ID. Let us check one thing. So it is already taken. Immediately what it is doing? It is giving us the suggestion. Why it is giving us the suggestion? By assuming that user is creating multiple number of times with the same email ID. I mean with the different IDs which are already available. Let us give some suggestion. Now what I will do is, again I'll try. Let me try with 31. See, the user is already taken. So again it is showing. Let me try with 41 again. See, the moment I tried 2 times, it is giving me some suggestion. So this is how exceptions will be handled. This is a real-time example of how exception will be handled. What is the exception here? User is trying to create the account with the existing some email ID which is used by someone else. So the try block will execute 2 times. Then it will throw the exception to the catch block. Catch block is going to suggest some some username for us. Right? Now what I will do is I'll just take this. Now I'll go to the password. See here, already we are giving instructions. Use 8 or more characters with a mix of letters, numbers and symbols. What I will do is I'll just use characters of 3. The moment I put again ABC, some ABC I'm just putting. When I say next, you can see here the try block through the catch or exception, it is showing it. See, if you consider this entire as one program, how many exceptions we are writing? 1, 2, 3. So minimum 3 exceptions are getting thrown. So this is what I am telling, multiple classes. So depending on the program, we are going to create number of catch blocks and we are going to generate the program. So is it clear to everyone? Is it clear? Any doubt? If it is clear, raise your hands. If it is doubt, you just put in the chat box or unmute yourself and ask. So in a program, you may come across any number of errors or exceptions. So you should be in a position to solve them using multiple catch blocks, multiple catch blocks like this. See why we are taking this example, just for your understanding. One is arithmetic exception, next is array index out of bound. So if we execute this program, you will get same errors, either this error or this error. Now, so that's what, when you execute first time, because a equals to 0, you will get divided by 0 error. So the moment you execute again that particular with the arguments, if you pass a value equals to 1, because c value is, see when a value becomes 1, if a value becomes 1, you won't get any error like this, because 42 by 1 is 42. Then what is the next error you have? Where it went? Something is wrong. Okay. Sorry. So when the a value becomes 1, okay, let me just check 1 second. So let it get loaded. Let us discuss by that time. So if a value becomes 1, you will never get this error. You will never get this error. What is the next error you have? Array out of bound, because the value is one value, but we are getting 42, some other value, which is going to be array out of bound exception. And every time it is going to print this after try catch blocks, because this is out of this program, right? So like this, the multiple catch blocks can be written in Java, which we can handle very easily, right? So this is how multiple catch blocks will be handled in Java. So this is an example. Now, at the same time, if you want to have multiple try statements, right? Say for example, same answer, like you cannot predict that you will be getting only one try statement. You need to have multiple try statements sometimes. It's a stack of statements, maybe 100, 200, 300, 400, we don't know, right? So in that scenarios, we are going to have multiple try blocks also. We are going to have multiple catch blocks. We are going to have multiple try blocks. Now, one try block I am writing for divided by 0. One try block I am writing for divided by 0 of this formula. I am writing another try block again divided by 0 for this formula. Right? Then you can write again one more try block if you required for another formula, like out of bound exception. So this also you can do. See, one you can write for divided by 0 exception, one you can write for out of bound exception. Again, you will going to have multiple catches. So one is for the divided by 0, one is for the array index out of bound. So that means a particular program may have any number of try blocks, any number of catch blocks. So it purely depends on your requirement. Okay, let me just 1 second. Before going to go to the next topic, let me just copy this. Let me just copy this program up to this. See, still people are adding late, so I'm just accepting as it is important concept. Already yesterday I have not accepted so many people because you are late. So don't make it as a practice. Okay. Now what I will do is I just copied the same program. Now you can understand the difference. When I have multiple catch blocks, first what will happen? The A is arguments.length. So it is 0 because we don't have any particular arguments where we are going to count it. Now when I execute first time, you can see here I'm getting the divided by 0 error. What I will do is I'll just change the A value to 1. Let me change A value to 1. Now I change the A value to 1. you won't get any error like this error, but you will get this one, array out of bound exception. So when I execute it, you can see array index out of bound. Index 42 is out of bound for length 1.
So, सामने की ओर ना, छोटा प्रोजेक्ट पूरा पीछे नहीं जाएगा.
Uddhav Kumar Singh, we don't want to learn Hindi, but anyhow, thanks for 2 words which we learnt. Okay, so when I made a value as 1, this exception is not going to happen. Immediately it will come here. It will check actual, our range is 1, length is 1, but we are getting 42, which is out of that. So that's why it is going to send the exception to the array index out of bound. Array index out of bound, right? So like this, you can have multiple catch blocks at the same time. So you can also have multiple try blocks like this. You can also have multiple try blocks. So in each and every try block, you are going to put particular exception. You're going to put particular exception. So at the end, if you want to really understand clearly what is try and catch, try is the place as a programmer we are going to write try block for the program or for the lines of code where there is a possibility that we will get the exception. Catch is the exception catcher or catching block where we are going to say what kind of exception it is going to be and what is the message you want to give it to the user as shown here. So this is a message I'm giving it to the user. So this can be done in the catch block. This is going to be your try block. This is going to be your try block, right? So like this, try and catch will be used in the Java. Try and catch will be used in the Java for your programming understanding, right? So I'm not executing this. This is same like that. If I don't assign the value to a, you will get first divided by 0. The moment I assign a equals to 1, so it will come here. Again, it will execute division by 0 only. Division by 0 because a equals to 1. Because when I put a equals to 1, it will become 1 only. So a equals to 1, a minus a, 1 minus 1 becomes 0. So now what I need to do, a equals to 2 I need to do. If I make a equals to 2, this program will execute and this exception will be caught. So like that, we are going to perform the try and catch block. So is it clear to everyone? Try and catch block. Still any doubt? Sir, how does it know which catch statement to be called? Very good. That's what I'm telling. How does it know it will be called? See, the moment it will come here, so 42 by a. So 42 by divided by 0. Who is going to do that? Who is going to do that? So that we are going to discuss. Very good question, Ashish. How the compiler will come to know which exception to call? That is what his question. We are going to see in the next couple of minutes. I'll answer your question after 5 to 10 minutes. So any other questions? Right. So let us proceed further. How it is going to happen. So just go here. Right. Try and catch. Now we are going to see one more keyword as we have seen yesterday in the exception handling, that is throw. So as name indicates, it is used to throw the explicit exceptions. See, now what we are doing here is we are just creating exceptions. We are catching them as per the Java runtime system, as thrown by the Java runtime system. So in some cases, it is possible that our programs throw some exception explicitly. Our programs throws some exception explicitly, right? That needs to be catched and that needs to be solved. That needs to be solved. So how the throw will work is throw new throwable instance. Throw new throwable instance. So that is throw new arithmetic exception and message. Arithmetic exception and message. So Ashish, for your question, this is the answer. So there is a Java runtime system. There is a Java runtime system. That's why we are executing. When you are installing Java, you are getting two, JDK, JRE. So the Java runtime environment will have one Java runtime system. So the moment you will execute the program, the compiler will say that, hey, I'm executing the program. This Java runtime system will be activated and it will be seeing any exceptions are getting created. If exceptions is getting created, it will throw it to the particular catch block. It will see whether it is a divided by 0 exception, whether it is a array out of bound exception. So based on that, it will throw that one to the particular catch block, But in Java, what will happen is, apart from this, there is a possibility that you will also get some exceptions explicitly. Explicitly, we'll get some exception. So that will be handled with throw keyword with the help of Java runtime system. So that syntax for this one is throw new throwable instance. That is throw new arithmetic exception. What is the message you want to pass? What is the message you want to pass? We are going to see that example. So whenever you are creating a throwable instance or throw keyword, you should remember that it is going to use an object called throwable. It's going to create an object called throwable, right? So immediately the flow of execution will be stopped the moment you will get the exception. No subsequent statements will be executed. So if no matching catch is found, then default exception handle halts the program and prints the stack trace. So that's what I said yesterday also. What will happen here is the throw keyword will throw with the help of JRE system. It will throw the exception. There should be one catch to accept it. So in this program, let us take this program. The divided by 0 error will come here. So JRE system will get activated. It will throw saying that, hey, there is a divided by 0. There should be some catch block to activate it. There should be catch block to activate it. If it doesn't found the catch block, immediately the default exception handler will get activated. The default exception handler put a message saying that it is a divided by 0 exception. It is a divided by 0 exception. Just go to Pisa where we executed now. What I will do is let me just remove this catch block. I'll just remove this catch block, only this portion, and now I'll execute it. Now you can see, because I removed the catch block, the default exception handler itself is telling message. The default exception handler itself is telling the message. So our intention as a programmer not to tell the message. We need to give the solution for that. That's why we will be writing the catch blocks. That's where we will be writing the catch blocks. So the throw keyword in Java will do the explicit exception handling, right? If there is no catch block found, default exception handler will just print the message saying that this is the error. This is the error. Now let us see an example. So throw new null pointer exception called demo. So there is some null point exception. So immediately it should find one null point catch block. If this is not found, immediately it will go to the default handler. What is null pointer? See, I just found some address which is null. So I couldn't able to find anything over there. It is a null pointer. So that means, so that when you put the throw, it will throw that exception to the catch block. But in real time, you no need to use throw keyword. So the throw will be a default activity in Java. The moment it comes to try, the moment it finds the exception, it will directly throw that to the catch block. So there should be one catch block to handle it. If catch block is not there, default handler is going to execute that particular exception. Exception, right? Here also you can see. So demo process we are just calling. So the moment you call the demo processor, so it will go to here, it will execute this, and null pointer exception is activated, or exception is there. So immediately there is a one catch block which is going to handle this null point exception. So caught inside demo process and throw the exception. So this is called rethrow. What is rethrow? So we just, what is the activity has to be performed in the catch block, it has been performed and it is rethrowing it, right? So what is rethrow? You can understand here. See, the moment I put something wrong, I'm getting some message. So this is called rethrow. Who is selling this? From the catch block, I'm getting this. This is called rethrow of the operation. Is it clear now? So for your question, Ashish, there will be one throw keyword which will be doing this process. The moment it will get the exception, it will throw that exception to the catch block. If particular catch block is not found, the default exception handler is going to be activated and it will execute the particular message. That's it. It won't give the solution. It will say this is the error. But who will be there to execute that error? Catch block should be there. As a programmer, we should write the catch block. What we will write in the catch block? We'll say in customer saying that, hey, do like this, do this process. See here in this scenario also, we are giving the instruction to the customer, hey, use 8 characters password minimum. Use 8 character password minimum. This is catch block. But what is the default exception will say? So if I use default exception, say for example, I'm using default exception now, I'm not calling the catch block. Now I'm just entering all yes, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now the moment I come out of this, see 8 characters are used, no? 1 second, again I'll type it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Why it's not taking? It should take. Let me just refresh this page once. Yeah. So I'm just entering 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You can see here, I just gave all 8 characters. So the default exception handler not showing anything. Again, I'll just put same thing. 4, 5, 6. I'll just put 5, 6 and 8. Now the moment I put next, so the password did not match. This is the work of exception handler, default exception handler. But who will give the solution? So I'll just pass 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'll say next. Now you can see the moment it is matched, it is telling nothing. Okay, it is matched, you can go ahead. So just to display the messages, we'll use default exception handler. If you want the solution, you need to go for the catch block. You need to give some instruction saying that the password should be with minimum 8 characters, lowercase letters, uppercase letters, numbers, special symbols. So that can be done with the help of your catch blocks, right? So this is how the particular throw, try, catch block will be working. Throw, try, catch block will be working, right? So is it clear, everyone? Till now, try, catch, and throw. Any doubt? I know for most of you it will be confusing. It will take some time to understand. Unless you read it once, you cannot understand also. So Ashish, did I answer your question? How it will be identified in the catch block? So any other doubt? Right, thank you. Now, so we have seen throw. Now let us go to the throws. There is one more keyword called throws. Fine. What is this throws? Suppose in a program, if we have a method, right? So it is causing an exception that it does not handle. Right? Suppose if there is some exception which it does not handle, it should specify the behavior of the particular exception, right? So that is where we are going to use the throws. Say for example, I know that there is a possibility that I'll get error in this method, but I cannot handle it. Then I need to specify with the help of throws keyword. Specify with the help of throws keyword, right? So the throws keyword or throws related exceptions might be throwing, which might be like errors at the runtime or at the execution time or subclass, anything that might be. So the throws keyword will be used in order to show the user there is a possibility that you will get some error here. You will get some error here, right? So how it would be, the syntax will be type method name, whatever method name you want to give, parameters list, throws, exception list, throws, exceptions list. You may have multiple exceptions. You can use comma to separate them. Let me show you example and then I come back for the discussion. Now you can see here, we are just creating one method called static void throw1, right? I'm just printing that inside throw1, throw new illegal access exception, throw new illegal access exception. Now what is going to happen? See, the moment it sees this particular throw1 method, so it will execute it. There is a possibility that I'll get illegal access exception. So I'm going to get illegal access exception, that I need to throw it. So how I'm going to do that? I need to use throws keyword. I need to use throws keyword. Now let me come back to the full program. Let me come back to the full program. See what I'm telling here, in the throw one, I may get the exception called illegal access exception. That is a possibility. Now what I'll come here is how it will be done with the throws. See here, I'm creating a class. Within that, I'm calling a method called throw1. I'm calling a method called throw1, which will throws possibility that there might be a illegal access exception. There might be a illegal access exception using keyword throws. Now within this, I'm going to write all the logic. There is no harm in writing all the logic, but the moment compiler observes this, it will also checks properly, is there any illegal access exception? Is there any illegal access exception? For this illegal access exception, again you can write the catch block. You can write the catch block. So the moment you feel that there is some illegal access happened, so the catch block is going to be activated and it will say, hey, I found someone accessing it. Someone accessing it. I'll tell you one best example for this. What is the best example is, see, in all your mobile phones, you are using Gmail. All your mobile phones, you are using Gmail. Sometimes what you will do, you will log in your friend system or your some other system. Immediately you will get a mail from Gmail saying that someone is accessing your mail ID from this IP address. Someone is accessing your mail ID from this IP address. So that is called throws. That is called throws. What is actual activity here? You are supposed to use your Gmail only with the registered mobiles. If you are changing the mobile or system, immediately notification will be sent to you. So that is called throws. What is the exception here? The exception is the moment you log in from some other system, you need to be notified. You need to be notified saying that someone is accessing your system. Someone is accessing your system. All of you getting that in Gmail whenever you are using it? Did you observe that? You are getting like someone is accessing this system at so and so time from this IP address, like that. I think recently also I got one yesterday or day before. I just logged in with some other system, not this mail ID, maybe. Okay, let it get open. Are you understanding what I'm telling? So that is called throws. So the throws is nothing but we are going to predict this error may occur, this exception may occur in this, but I cannot handle it. I cannot handle it because it may occur, may not occur. But in the previous example, coming to divided by 0, you are pretty sure that if a value becomes 0, it is going to occur. But here I'm not sure. There might be illegal access, there might not be illegal access. Someone might access it, someone might not access it. So in that kind of scenarios, we are going to use throws keyword to throw the exceptions. We can also write catch blocks. We can also write catch blocks, right? How to call the throws keyword? Method followed by the throws keyword. What are the multiple exceptions you are going to get? Illegal access exception, right? And whatever exceptions you will get, you can mention it here. Most of the times authorization exceptions all we cannot handle directly. We cannot handle directly. It's very simple like this. Gmail, I may give my username password to Harshita. She will use in her system. It doesn't mean that she's an unauthorized access. She's an authorized access. But for system, she's an unauthorized access. Immediately I'll get a notification. Immediately I'll get a notification. So that is how it will be done. That is how it will be done. I think somewhere I got yesterday or sometime. Not some mail ID I have got saying that did you log in?